All right, so let's go over factoring again one more time. So I have this list here from the notes, and it says to start off with a GCF. So always keep GCF in mind. You always want to take it out if you can. It says there's a binomial thing, a trinomial thing, and a four-term thing, which would be a quaternomial or quadrinomial, whichever. Anyway. All right, so we're going to start off here at the first one. So you can see that this is clearly binomial, right? It's got two terms. So it's got to be a double parentheses, okay, if it's going to work. And then you got to think, okay, I got to split 81 evenly. So it's got to be 9 and 9 because 9 is the square root of 81. So 9x and 9x, you got to have a plus and a minus. That's the only way you're going to get the minus 49 in the back. So what times itself would make 49? The answer is 7. Now they have to be the same numbers in both of them because that way when you FOIL it, right, outers would be 63x, inners would be negative 63x, and they'd cancel and leave you no middle term, which is what you have here. There's no x term here. So that's the binomial. That's the easiest factoring you have when you have a difference of squares. There's a difference, i.e. subtraction, and two perfect squares. All right, so let's do it again. What if it's this one right here? Okay. Well, the sum of squares doesn't have those things. Right? Sum of squares is prime. Okay. Oops, I actually meant 25 here. Not 225. But even so, it doesn't really matter. Because either way, it's still going to be prime. Right? There's no way you could do it. Oops. If I could spell. There we go. Okay, now the reason being, you know what you want to try. You want to try 2x plus 5. 2x plus 5, right? Okay, the problem with that is outers is 5 times 2, which is 10x, and inners is 5 times 2, which is 10x, and when you add them up, you get 20x. But we don't have an x term in this problem, right? That's why it has to be prime. This won't work, right? If you try to FOIL that out, it won't get what you want. Okay. Next, what about this one? Well, 8 and 18 are both divisible by 2. So my first job is going to take the 2 out. And that's going to leave me 9x squared minus a 4y squared. Now this is good because there's subtraction here, so that means that I can do this one as long as these are squares over here. And they are. 9 and 4 are both perfect squares. So the answer's got to be 2 out in front, then I need 2 sets of parentheses. I'm going to have to do 3x and 3x because 3 times 3 makes 9. I'm going to need a plus and a minus. That way I'll get the outers and inners to cancel. And it's got to be 2y because 2 times 2 would make 4 and y times y would make y squared. So that right there is the answer. Right? Remember, you should be able to FOIL this out and get back what you had, right? Which you can. All right, what about this one? All right, it's 2x cubed minus 50x. So let's think. A 2 and an x could come out, right? And that would leave us x squared minus 25, right? 2 times 1 makes 2, right? 2 times 25 makes 50. And then they both have an x to give, so I divided an x away and put it out in front. All right, now this is not prime because of the minus. If it was a plus there, it would be done, right? Because you'd be prime at that point and wouldn't be able to go any further. But since it's not, it must mean that we can do it. Okay? Subtraction of 2 squares is the easiest factoring there is. Same thing in the front, plus and minus, and then all you need to do is figure out what times itself would be 25, and of course that's 5. And there you go. You got your answer. All right, those are all the binomials. Let's move on to the 4-term ones, which are mentioned at the bottom. 4 terms you factor by grouping. I'm just going to do one of these right here. Okay, you look at the first one, first 2 terms, they both have an x squared. So you take an x squared out and you write what's left. And you look at the back 2, they both have a minus 4, and you write what's left. And notice the parentheses are the same. That's good. We want that. Okay, so they both have an x plus 3. You can take that out. That'll leave you x squared in the front minus 4. But x squared minus 4 breaks up even further to x minus 2, x plus 2.